If you are new, welcome. If not, welcome back. Today we will be going over the video modes on the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus 4 years later. For the video resolutions on the front-facing camera, HD 30, FHD 30, FHD 60, UHD 30, and UHD 60. That is where it caps out at. So on the Galaxy S10 Plus, there's actually a dual selfie camera. So what Samsung calls a 10 megapixel dual pixel autofocus lens, which includes UHD selfie technology, and the other camera is a 8 megapixel lens, giving added depth to your photos. There's also a timer on the screen when you're recording video. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and turn on the post notifications and join my notification squad. Another cool feature about this camera that I absolutely love is the ability to pause the video, move over to another location, and then go back while you're still filming, which is kind of cool. So say there's something happening and you want to pause it and then unpause it, you can do that. And there's also the ability to stop the video. So there's a stop button and also a picture. So here is a selfie. And then there's also the ability to switch the cameras while you're filming, which is pretty cool. I really like this. And with this resolution, I can actually use all the cameras. So the ultra wide lens, the wide lens, and also the telephoto, and then zoom all the way in up to 10 times. Going back to the front-facing camera, which is pretty cool. So there are different aspect ratios. So here we're at 16:9, and we have 1:1 that shoots at FHD 30, and then here's a full aspect ratio which covers the entire screen, which is kind of cool. We have the ability to tap on the screen here. This is the exposure meter, and you can click on it to lock it into place, and then you can actually adjust it to really dark, middle, and really bright. So depending on how you want your video to look, you can press and hold on that. Here I'm gonna test its stabilization. I mean, the camera, I think the camera's broken on the inside of the phone, so it's really wobbly. It might look different in post-processing. All right, so we also have the option to change the resolution here, HD 30. So here on the top left corner, let me draw a little line here. We have this button, tap on it, and we have the different filters. So here we have original, warm, and you can actually change the filter strength from 0 all the way up to 10. And we have cool, lolly, frosty, blossom, ivory, faded, soft, kiss me, grayscale, classic, and black and white. That's pretty cool. And then here you can actually tap the download button to download more filters. Here we have different filters by Samsung. Going back into it, we have my filters here. So here you can add a filter, select a picture to use as a filter. Here it says filter 2, so I've already set one up. Let's see if this works. It says here resize reference area. And then here you can actually resize the reference area. Let's just keep it as it is. Cancel or done, done. And now we have filter here, create or cancel. So this is filter 2, it's really bright. And here's filter 1. And here we have original, roof, shadows, monstera, palm tree, vignette, filter 1 and filter 2. And then here we have this button called face, smoothness. So it should smooth out your face. It looks like it does. It goes all the way up from 0 all the way up to 8. It's kind of cool. Here we have the portrait video mode, which is sort of like cinematic mode on iPhone. So here we're at the blur, and you can actually change the effect strength from 0 all the way up to 7 here, which is kind of cool. And you can also pause the video while filming. You can also change the effect while filming as well, which is kind of cool. So here, now we have big circles, so everything in the background is blurred out. The edge detection here is terrible. Look at my hand. You see the edges? It's trying to like fit in the background and also my hand at the same time, but it's actually blurring it out. And it doesn't recognize that this is a hand. It might, but it's not doing a good job of it. You can see the background just peeping out right here. Color point. So everything else in the background is in black and white, and also my hand is kind of moving in black and white. I'm not sure if it recognizes my hand at all, but the further you get away from the camera, the more it turns to the color point. And then here we have glitch. Okay, that's kind of cool. So my hand is fine. So everything else, actually it's starting to like freak out. It's starting to freak out in the background. You can see that there on the, right here, it's freaking out. So that makes me wonder what the stabilization is like with this on. So here we have the blur. So I'm gonna try every single one of these. Stabilization works. Edge detection might not look so good. Here we have big circle. Let's see if this works. It's okay. And then color point. Let's go again. I mean, the stabilization is working okay. And then here we have glitch, let's see. Let's see. I mean, it's okay, kind of shaky, but also the effect of the glitch moving along the screen kind of gives it that effect. Here we have the video stabilization on, so let's try it. Front camera. It's okay. All right, now I'm gonna turn it off to see how horrible it is, or how good it is. I don't know, so that's why I'm gonna test it. So, no stabilization. Okay, looking at it while I'm running, terrible. Terrible, terrible. Yeah. Here we're looking at clips that Samsung calls Hyperlapse. So here we have auto, 5 times speed, 10 times speed, 15 times speed, 30, and all the way up to 60. Now that is really good. Now the 60 is for sunsets and sunrises, and then the auto is for like automatic movement across the camera. Here we're looking at slow motion on the front-facing camera, which was added later in an update. And then here we're going to be viewing slow motion stabilization on the front-facing camera. Looking back at the clip, this clip is smooth and also the resolution is pretty good, but also the stabilization is good as well. All right, so now we're going to be reviewing the rear cameras on the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. So here, on the rear of the Galaxy S10 Plus, there is a 12 megapixel telephoto lens with 45 degrees with a 2 zoom and OIS anti-blur software, 12 megapixel wide lens, 77 degrees with dual aperture and dual pixel. It also includes inbuilt optical image stabilization software to reduce blurry images, and a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle lens at 123 degrees. Now that is directly from Samsung. We have the 3 lenses, ultra wide, wide, and telephoto, but also the resolutions: HD30, FHD30, FHD60, UHD30, and UHD 60, and you can still flip the camera around while you're filming, which is cool. And then let's go back while recording the same video. And also there's also the ability to use the flash. It's bright out right now, so there's no use to me to use the flash. You can see it on my hand. It kind of does not do much, but also I noticed that when the flash is on, you're only allowed to zoom in, say 1 times and then 2 times. And then actually you can zoom in further. Oh wow. So up to 10 times. Let's see if I can go back to 0.5. Does not look like it. Let's see if I turn the flash off. Flash is now off. And now we can go back to the ultra wide camera. So the only caveat to this camera is the ultra wide. You're not able to use it while you have the flash on, and vice versa. You can also take a picture while filming. So here, I'm just gonna test stabilization normally. And here's the wide lens. And next we're gonna do the telephoto lens. Okay, that is terrible. Oh my goodness. Wow. But here's the 1 times and then 0.5. So stabilization is pretty decent, but there is actually the addition of the super steady on this camera, which was amazing at the time. And the only caveat to that is the resolution is really not up there. We're at 16:9 for the aspect ratio. Here we have 1:1 aspect ratio, which is all right. We have the full aspect ratio, which covers the entire screen, which is kind of cool, but also gives it a wider look. So here we have super steady at 0.5 times. All right, let's see how good this is. All right, now let's try 1 time zoom super steady. Whew. And you cannot zoom in any further. So I'm trying to zoom in here. It says can't zoom in or out while super steady is on. That's the only caveat to that. We're gonna test this without the stabilization on. So we're gonna do 0.5 times. So this is where stabilization is off. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, 1 times. Okay, this is terrible. Looking at it while I'm running, it's awful. And then here's the 2 times where the telephoto, 1 times was also the wide lens, by the way. I didn't mention that already. So, telephoto lens, no stabilization. It looks bad. Yeah. So you can actually zoom up to 10 times. So I'm gonna try this 10 times. Stabilization, awful. Goodness. And the 10 times zoom is really awful. Like if you want to see an airplane, you'll see the airplane, but it's not going to be in detail. Here we have the portrait mode. It's telling me to find a face. So the blur, big circle. Let's see if this works. I'm not able to tell. Color point. This works, except my hand is part of the effect. So if I turn around, then I'll be in color. But my hand is probably not in color at the moment. And then here we have glitch. This is another one that you don't necessarily need to find a face for, but it works either way, which is kind of cool. So I'm just gonna test the stabilization. Here's a blur. It's not really doing much since there is no subject. And then big circle. See if my hand becomes a subject. It does not. Okay. And that did not do much. And then color point. Color point is working. And then here we have glitch, stabilization. It's all right. So we're at ultra wide with the pro video mode. There are so many features in this mode. So the resolutions on the pro video mode include HD30, FHD24, FHD30, FHD60, HD24, UHD30, and UHD60. So here we're filming at 16:9. Then there's the 21:9, which is more cinematic looking. Here is 1:1, and here we have full aspect ratio, which covers the entire screen. Can also use the flash. There should be a icon on the corner that has a lightning bolt. You tap on that, and then you'll be able to turn it on or off. And there is also different options here. Rest at -10. Now you can't change these while you're filming, which is unfortunate. So you have to stop the video and then go back into it. Contrast goes all the way up to +10. Lights go from -10. Let's go all the way up to +10. Shadows go from -10 all the way up to +10. And saturation from -10 all the way up to +10. Tint. At -10, my hand is very green and it's kind of out of focus. Still out of focus, but everything else in the background. Here for the tint, we have +10, which is kind of like a pinkish purple red color. This is what my hand looks like. Still not in focus. Here we have a cool temperature at -10, a warmer temperature at +10. Now using these features in this particular mode, adjusting the saturation, temperature, all of that, the video only records at FHD 30, so not UHD 24, 30, or 60. So the slow motion stabilization is actually really decent. Here we can actually change the ISO from 50 all the way up to 3200. This looks terrible, but if there was less light outside, then it would be easier to see. So now we have the shutter speed. So you can change this from 1/24,000th of a second all the way up to 1/30th of a second, which makes the video bright again. Let's go back to auto. So here we have the exposure value from -2.0 all the way up to 2.0. Then we have a focus point, which I'm not able to adjust right now. And then we have the white balance. So here we have a 5,100, and it changes because it's on auto. So here we have 3,200 blue. This looks like a painting or something. Wow, this is kind of cool. And then we can go all the way up to 10,000, which, I mean, my shirt is actually red, so let's see if we can zoom in this mode. Oh, we can up to 2 times. We can't zoom in any further at the time being, but once I switch it around, it should go back to normal. So here we're back at auto, and then we have the Omni mic. Omni mic captures sound equally from all directions. So here we have -12, really loud. You want to get the quietness. And then we have 12s for like really quiet. So like say if there was a bird down there or an animal making noises, you'd be able to hear it, hopefully. So like I'm whispering right now, and it might be a little louder, hopefully. You can also pair a Bluetooth device to use as the microphone on this mode, as well as a wired connection. Let's say you have a wired microphone, you'll be able to connect it to your device and use that in this mode as well, and it will pick up the audio from that device. I have ultra wide, so the zoom in at a constant speed, so we have ultra wide 2.0, 0.5. So notice that the focus are only available using the wide lens, not the ultra wide lens. It might be available on the telephoto. So here we have center, multi, and the manual focus. So my hand is really blurry. And then here we have multi, and then here we have center. You can actually change this to 1, all the way up to 0.0. That's kind of crazy. Wow. All right, let's go back to center. Let's see if this does it. It did not do it. Let's go back to 0. Okay, nope. Ultra wide. Pro video mode. It's kind of good. Here we have the wide lens. So the stabilization is really wobbly here. And we have the telephoto lens. Really terrible. So here we have the super slow motion, which does not provide audio in this case. Here we're looking at hyperlapse, 45 times speed, taken at night. Automatic, 5 times speed, 10 times speed, 15 times speed for hyperlapse, 30 times speed, 60 times speed, you can also use super steady in this mode, and here we have 60 times with super steady turned on. I think my favorite timing setting on this would be the 60 times or the 45 times at night. So that way you can see like the clouds moving across the sky throughout the day. You can leave your phone outside. Or also at night where the moon, like I showed you earlier, that was pretty cool. You can also use the flash in this mode. So would I recommend using this camera in 2023? Yes, if it's the only camera that you have access to. And also yes, since it still has 4K recording capabilities at 30 frames per second and also 60 frames per second. Now, if you're worried about quality, having a higher resolution such as 8K or a higher megapixel count, then go with a different recording device. I still use this in 2023 as I record most of my iOS videos or other videos relating to iPhone or anything else with this phone because it's still capable and it hasn't died yet. So I think the only caveat to using this device is no front flash and also not being able to use the flash on the rear cameras while using the ultra wide lens. That would be amazing if they added a quick software update to fix that, but it has not happened in 2023 and I do not think it will happen ever, unfortunately. But it's still a great camera. So that's pretty much it for the video modes on the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus in 2023. If you like the video, make sure you drop a like on it and also comment and subscribe if you haven't already. Trying to hit a goal of 450 before the end of the month. Let's go. Also, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day or night to consume my content. I really appreciate that. And I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you may be. Thank you once again. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.